All right, so now what I'm going to do, today is Wednesday. Okay, it's Wednesday morning, 10:18. And what I'm going to do is this is an intro. So what you're watching right now is an intro to get you guys ready for the video that's coming behind this. You're going to be watching it in this presentation. However, I need to do an intro before you watch the next 2 hours. I need to have this talk with you. The Lord had a young lady come to town named Eden, and she was in a spiritual war. Her name's Eden. And the Lord told me to bring her to San Antonio and take her down to the alley where I got saved. And we went down there and prayed, and he told me very specifically, pray Our Father, explain to her what we're doing for her restoration, and go down there and pray the same prayer he prayed the night you got saved, in Our Father. So we did that. I didn't even realize it when we went down there, but the alley that I got converted in, at the end of the alley is a big stained glass window that's got Adam down in the Garden of Eden and Christ ascending into heaven. I am the first and the last. Get it? The first Christ was Adam, right? Christ's representative, one man brought death, and then through the sandman brought life, a quickening spirit. Okay, so now check this out. So I go down to this alley and I pray with Eden in Our Father, where there just happens to be a stained glass window of Eden. Okay. I see the change in her face after she says the prayer. I look right at her and I see her countenance change. And that began this culmination of miracles that y'all are about to watch that I documented. And the whole thing began with the Lord God telling me, Jonathan, I want you to put up these arches where my front windows are. In between, there's 3 head symbols on my house, one in the middle and one on each side of the middle. So one in the middle, right and left. A head symbol from Hebrew, from the Hebrew alphabet. 3 head symbols together means Jesus is salvation. So on my house is written in Hebrew, Jesus is salvation. If you use the head symbols in Jewish gematria, it's het, 888, Jesus is salvation. Okay, so that's written on my house. I had nothing to do with it. The house, when it was purchased, the house was in such horrible shape. I think it was $60,000 for the lot and the entire thing. It was a complete disaster. My dad was trying to alleviate himself of the guilt he had for taking approximately $320,000 from his own son and having me locked up in jail. Anyway, so he gave me that as a token of, like, hey, I'm sorry. Here's $60,000 of absolutely horrifying, torturous remodel if you want it. And the Lord told me to be gracious and take it. And so I did. And the house has 3 head symbols on it, in the same orientation as the crosses at Calvary. Jesus in the middle, Jusmus and Decimus on the side, on the 2 sides. So the 2 thieves that lay bound with Barabbas and insurrection, Jusmus and Decimus. But then in the center position, I've accepted Christ as my Redeemer, so I'm no longer inverted upside down. So the pit no longer has a hold on me, and I've been converted. Okay, so now the house that I'm in is supernatural. There's no way that God's harbinger in the end of the world could have a house with 3 natural head symbols. The head symbols came with the house, is what I'm saying. Also, the columns that go up that they're in are granite bricks, and then the bricks, the red bricks that make the head symbols, they're actually clay. They're very different than the other bricks on the house. One's granite, one's clay. Okay, so now let's start there. Now here's the thing. The Lord told me this is what you're going to do. And he told me you're going to put up these 2 arches. And then he told me you're going to get 2 hollow rocks. And when I went to get the hollow rocks, by the way, this lady had 2 black ones and a white one. And there was a big black geode and a little black geode. And I heard the Lord say, just take them all. And they were $16. So I said, you know what? I'll just take all 3. So there were 2 black ones and a white one, you know, on the outside. And then as I turned around, this lady told me you can't take these and unless you pay for them, and you cannot open them and then decide to pay for them, because they had already had a saw go through them, but they had a rubber band like around them holding them together. But you weren't allowed to open the geode and look inside. They had these bands around them, so you couldn't open them. Anyway, so she said, but you got to pay for them and then you can open them, you know, so if you don't like what you see inside, you're still going to buy it. That's the point. So anyway, so as I just agreed to her terms, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just take all 3. Well, I turned around in the store and I see the lady, she's kind of rooting through some boxes, but she's got her hands on some really heavy stuff. So I saw she was like holding a really heavy, you know, bunch of stuff in her hands. And I'm thinking, well, we just made a deal to do rocks. Like, what's she looking for? Why is she lifting all this heavy stuff in her store all of a sudden? You know, I thought maybe we should just check out, you know, but she's on some thing, like she's rearranging some part of her store. And I look over at her and I said, ma'am, would you like some help? Because it was heavy what she was picking up. And she said, no, you know, she's very nice. She was Asian, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but she was very cute. She goes, no, I look for you. I have another rock. I have bigger one. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. And she goes, no. And so she opens some box, and she has one other geode, and it's solid black, and it's bigger than all the other rocks. It's this big black geode. And she goes, you know, I trade you, you know, like you don't have to keep the 3 you have. You can have this big one. And she was trying to let me get out of the purchase of the little one by replacing it with a bigger one that she had stashed in a box, and it was her last one. And I said, and in my spirit I heard, no, keep the little one, just take them all. So, you know, I sat there and I go, no, it's okay. And she goes, oh, no. It's like, she's like, no, you take the big one, it's better. And I said, you know, I'll just take them all, so as not to go back and forth with her. I just said, you know what, it's $16. I'll take the other one, and I'll take them home, and I'll just do what the Lord tells me to do. So that's exactly what I did. Had I not taken the smaller one, this whole testimony would not be near as profound as it is. Because Kefa means hollow rock. Okay, Kefa, like Peter. I will call you Peter, Petros, which means little rock, and then it means to bend, like a rainbow, to bend, but it bends you upside down. And then it means hollow rock. Well, about 8 months ago, I did a video about you won't believe the name. I think the title is something like, you won't believe the name Peter and Ready or Not. And that's the title of the video. And you know what the thumbnail is, the picture for that video? It happens to be a purple geode that's cut open, identical to the one that you're going to see in this presentation. Now listen, the reason I'm bringing that up now because there's so many miracles that happened during this thing that I couldn't keep track of them. Yeah, I couldn't keep track of all the miracles, and it was overloading me. It was seriously overwhelming me. So Anyway, I want to put this out there now that after I took these geodes home and I did what the Lord said, he told me, once I went to this plant place to get the trellises and I got the arches while I was there, the Lord told me buy these, buy these 3 passion flower vines, which made 0 sense to me. 0 sense. I'm like, why would you want me to buy 3 passion vines when we already have the passion vines that are all over the bush that are pink? And we have the one that was transplanted last year that's growing over the arch already this year. It's already almost all the way over the arch. And I hear the Lord say, buy those vines right there. And there were 5 of them. And I put them on my cart. And some guy came up to me and asked me if he could have one. And I said, sure, you can absolutely have one. So I gave him one off my cart. And while I was at the nursery getting the trellises, I heard the Lord tell me, I want you to get this trellis that looked like a phallic symbol. And I was like, there's no way I can be hearing that right. I don't understand. Why would I get a trellis that looks like a penis to put vines on, And I heard the Lord tell me, I want you to get it along with those passion flowers. So I had the passion flowers, and what I did is I went and checked out. I was disobedient to an extent. I went to check out, and then I heard the Lord tell me, you need to get the other trellis, like the one that looks like a phallic symbol, and you need to put it where the arch comes down between the arch and the het symbol on the house. So that, which is a really small space. It's only about, it's about 2 feet of space. And it just seems so odd. It doesn't make sense to my brain at all. And I said, Lord, I don't understand, but he proved to me he wanted me to get that. Okay, so I did what he said. I went back out. I already purchased the 2 trellises and the passion flowers. And now I'm going, okay, I got to go back and get that other piece. Because I heard the Lord tell me, I want you to put the passion flower in the ground, put the trellis over the passion flower in the center position. Like the whole house has the center het symbol and then the 2 on the sides. In the center position, I heard the Lord tell me, you need to put the passion flower in the ground, put the trellis over the passion flower. That's where I want it. And I was like, that's so strange. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna, just like the floor out at the Night Under the Stars, the metallic epoxy floor. I got to see the glory of God because I finally did exactly what he said. He said he wanted that floor metallic epoxy. Then the entire room turned to white light because the floor was metallic epoxy.
What the heck?
Where were the shadows?
How's
I didn't
that
see
even?
their
That's not even possible.
That's impossible.
I didn't see the shadows.
Oh my God! What the heck?
So anyway, so I go back in to buy that trellis, and the same girl waits on me. And when I walk up there, she's like, she smiles. She was very nice, and she goes, "Oh, back again?" I go, "Yeah." And I go, "Yeah, I'm gonna grab this." And she goes, "Okay." And she goes, "It's $75.76. $75.76. I believe that's good." And I'm like, okay. So I hand her $100 bill. And I'm like, okay, I'll just hand her this $100 bill I have. And I gave it to her. And then she goes, okay, and here's your change. And I put my hand out like this. I put my hand out, and the girl reaches over the counter, and she puts her hand in my hand and puts down the change, not the bills, just the coins. And she puts them in my hand, and she goes, $24.24. But she's pushing her hand like in my palm in a very unusual way. Not sexual, but like, hey, I'm trying to get your attention. So she's going like this, and I've never had anyone ever in my life ever do something like, it was just so strange. And she's going $24.24, and I'm looking at my hand while she's doing, like, what is she doing to my hand? Why is she not lifting her hand up? Why is she like pressing down like, hey, look at me? And I look at her hand, and I look up at her, and she's smiling. She's like, $24.24. And she's like, and then she giggles. She goes, 24. And I'm like, you know, the last time I heard that was when I was told to go get the mask from Gibson's Costume to do the video where the Lord told me to wear a mask and speak in a foreign language to show everybody you have no idea who you're talking to, really, because you don't know what's behind the skin, the veil. You have no idea what's behind that skin when who you're talking to. So if I speak a foreign language to you and I'm wearing a mask, how could you have any idea who you're even talking to? And the point of that video was to show people they have their own language. That here in this place, the serpents have their own language. And so anyway, that was the point of the video way back then. And so anyway, when she gave me that 24 and said that, I was like in shock. I was like, wow, the last time I heard that was when I went to buy the mask at Gibson's Costumes, when the Lord told me, I want you to go to Gibson's Costumes and buy a mask, do the entire video speaking in a foreign language, and I'll show you which mask to get. I went to Gibson's Costume and I almost had an anxiety attack because there's hundreds of masks. I'm like, how am I going to know which mask? How, Lord? He walked me over to the mask and it had an X on each eye and it was called Sam Unmasked. That was the name of the mask. Sam means the voice of God unmasked. And the Lord was showing me that it had, you know, an X on each eye, and it was a reference to the twin females voice that, you know, is in everybody's head that you need to overcome. And he was showing me I'm unmasking Sam because 2X is that voice. And he told me that the cost of the mask is very important, to look it up. So this is the communication I have with the Lord. We are talking an open door, and he has a way of communicating with me using whatever means available, and he lets me know. And he said, this is very important, 75, 76, and it means disgrace. I want to make sure everybody understands one thing, because this is really spiritually important. I mean, when Karen and Kathy were around, the Lord used them as these twin females so I could understand the system. It's phenomenal what he showed me. The mask, Sam Unmasked with the X on each eye, that's the female entity hiding within the host body. And in the Bible, it says, you have counted on your wickedness and said, none seeth me. The Lord was using that mask, Sam Unmasked, to help me unmask her, the entity, the female entity, the monster in the system. So anyway, so 75, 76, how much this thing cost was the same as the mask. And it means, and 75, 76 in the Bible means to bind together, because this, think about a phallic symbol that bound us together like Adam and Eve bound together to the serpent race. Think about that. That's insane. So 75, 76 means to bind, to shackle together in a disgraceful way, because prisoners were shackled together. I mean, do you know how crazy it is to have this trellis that's kind of a phallic shaped thing with this ivy, like the Lord paying the price for neither shall you touch it lest you die. That's insane, because that, the number associated with that means to bind together, like the Adamic race bound with the serpent race in a disgraceful way. Do you understand? That is insane, beyond insane. So obviously I heard right to buy that, because that's what he's paying for, our commingling blood guiltiness with another race, like to your disgrace. And that's the same cost as the trellis. So the mask costs the same, you know, years ago when I bought it, is this trellis I just bought. And I'm like, weird. But when I bought that mask, the Lord said the cost is very important, because he was exposing the twin female as the enemy. Isn't that perfect? Because that's when I was dealing with Karen and Kathy Sullivan, and they were complete frauds, the entire group. They were just frauds, but the Lord used them to educate me and to show me the system. So anyway, so I bought that mask, and And the change was 2424. And the Lord told me the change is the most important part. The cost of the mask is very important to understand, but the change is the most important. Okay. The change was 2424. I don't know how many years ago that was, but it was so weird that I called Kat. I'm like, Kat, this is so crazy. Why would he have me buy another mask? I already had a mask ready to go for the whole video. Why would he send me over there? Why did he give me this mask with 2 X's, X on each eye? That's so weird. Salmon mask, that's so weird. Why is the cost so important? He said the change is more important, is the most important part, which was 2424. Well, 2424 in the Bible is Jesus. The change from her, which is 2X, is the most important part of understanding. The change, 2424, Jesus. And I'm like, okay, that's insane. Well, when I called Kat up and I said, would you look up 2424? Kat goes, oh my God, have you talked to Corey today? Corey was out in San Diego living out there. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about, Kat? Why would I talk to Corey? And she goes, 2424, you need to talk to Corey. I was like, God, just tell me what's going on. That very same day in the morning, Corey's ex-wife, they were still in the same house together. Corey's ex had changed the combination on the house that Corey and them were living in, and his combination was 2424. He didn't know, I don't know if Corey knew that. I don't think Corey knew 2424 was Christ. I mean, when he chose his combination, I'm positive he didn't. But she had changed the combination. His wife had changed it from 2424. Changed it. The change is the most important part. The change. So Corey's wife had changed the way to get in the house. You can't get in the house. And it was 2424. And then I'm checking out, and the Lord's saying the change is the most important part. 2424. Showing me that we were hearing a different voice. Sam unmasked. The voice of God that y'all were hearing, I'm unmasking. It's the twin female. And it's so crazy because that mask looks like Karen Sullivan. I'm just saying it does. The face, just the features remind me of her. It's crazy. Karen and Kathy. Anyway, so now I'm doing this garden installation after Eden comes to town. Garden of Eden. Eden is restored, standing in an alley where there's the Garden of Eden on a window. Now Jonathan is doing some gardening project at his house, and the Lord is using new passion vines that I was told to put in the ground against the wall where the hat symbols are. One at each hat symbol, one on each side and one in the middle. The one in the middle is going to have a trellis. It's like a phallic symbol, and the number on it means disgrace, and then the change is 2424. Do you get it? Neither shall you touch it lest you die. The disgrace was sexual contact. You get it? But the change is 2424, Jesus. You get it? He's showing me what the original sin was and the way to fix it. Now, imagine that Eden, when she came to town, she doesn't know the whole there's a right side up star and an upside down star with the Ouroboros wrapped around it, eating the energy from the system. She doesn't know all that. A right side up, 5-pointed star, interlock, meaning male energy from heaven, and then an inverted 5-pointed star, female energy from the pit. Hell hath enlarged herself. Her dimension is the pit. His dimension is heaven. And then the serpent's wrapped around it, eating its own tail. And the only way out of that trap is to get your eyes inverted, your eye inverted, your eyes become single, and your whole body's full of light. That's what the Bible even says. So if your eye be single, your whole body's full of light. If your eye is double, pluck it out and cast it into, if your right eye offends you. The word offends, if your right eye offends you, pluck it out. The word offend means to turn upside down in a trap, in a snare that inverts you. So if your eye offends you and turns you upside down in a trap, pluck it out. It's better to go to heaven than to be cast into the pit with both eyes, where the worm dieth not and the fire is never quenched. So see, the whole thing is about getting your other eye turned up, getting your female part of you turned up. So there's Adam and Eve is counterpart down. Adam is up, Eve is down. Think of a right side up star male, upside down star female. But when you invert the world, the female part, then the two come together as one. Isn't that crazy? That's exactly what was on Eden's brand new pair of jeans she bought when she came to town. When she went out shopping with her mom after our first meeting. The first meeting was like, hey, let's break the ice and get to know each other, have a burger, whatever, and then you guys go do some shopping. We'll meet tomorrow and do our thing. So that's what we did. But when she went shopping, she bought a pair of jeans that when her legs come together down at the bottom on the bell bottoms, she's got 2 half stars that make a perfect right side up 5-pointed star. That's insane, because the Bible says, I will make a part opposite. The Bible says, I will make an aid, a help, a meet, and counter for him, a meet. It says part opposite. So Adam's up, Eve upside down, showing us the system, right side up, upside down. I will make a meet for him, a counterpart. And it says to limp as if one-sided, also in the same scripture, to limp as if one-sided, like 1 foot up, 1 foot down, 1 foot facing up, 1 foot facing down, just like a set of twins. I will make a meet for him, a part opposite. And then you turn that star that's upside down up, and the two become one. That's what's on Eden's jeans, you guys. 2 stars coming together as one. And she has no concept of what I'm talking to you about right now. She didn't say, oh, this will be really cool because Johnny thought, the idea that anyone could even find that pair of jeans is insane. So anyway, so here's the point. Now I've done this project where I'm restoring this little garden in front of my house that the Lord orchestrated over several years. And he began the whole project by putting a fountain in there many years ago. He told me to put a fountain in there. Corey was all taking care of the birds. He was like the bird guy. And the Lord told me, put this fountain in. The Lord picked the fountain. I mean, literally said, go in that place. And that I would never have chosen the fountain that he picked. He said, that's the fountain. Put it right in the middle of the yard, facing the middle head symbol, because I am a fountain of life. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I put the fountain in, then this big bush grew around the fountain. This bush grew literally in an exact circle around the fountain. I didn't go plant any bush. It just grew naturally. And passion flowers, pink passion flowers, grew all over the thing. Okay, so, sorry, that was Dave the Wave calling. So anyway, so here's the thing. So all these miracles that have happened, I've documented as they happened. That's what you're about to see. You're about to see all the miracles that happened putting this garden thing together after Eden came to town. Eden, like Garden of Eden. Now, I want to show you something that's absolutely insane. I had to go pick up a letter, but my wallet was stolen several weeks ago. And so I had to go pick up a letter, but I had to have a photo ID. And I was like, dude, so I picked up one of my old briefcases. I found one of my old passports. And this piece of paper, actually this one right here that's all bent up, I want to show you so you can see for yourself. Let's see, watch this. This fell out of my passport. This piece of paper fell out of my passport. This piece of paper. Now, I've made it to where you can look at it. What do you think the odds are? Okay, and before I do this, now here's the thing. I've had people say, oh, the Lord sent me to your house. The Lord told me this, I will never send someone to your house. So when people say up and show that, I already know that, no, you weren't sent by the Lord, because the Lord told me for your safety and the safety of the people around you, I will never send someone to your house. So if someone ever says that to me, I know it's not the Lord that sent you. So please, no one take it upon yourself to try and find and come by my house. It's so awful. No Christian would do that, by the way. Do unto others. No one that calls himself a Christian would take the liberty of bombing someone's house. It's repugnant. And I don't like it. And if someone does it, I will call the authorities. I'm like, just come. Here we go again. Every time it turns out terrible. Every time. It never turns out. Okay. What I mean is it never turns out well for the person that comes by. So please don't do it. It's so stupid. It's like, don't come by and say, oh, well, God sent me. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I'm a harbinger. I'm delivering a message. He's not sending someone to give me information. That's not the way it works. I have an open door, so I don't need someone to come give me a message. Okay, so just for the record. So now I'm going to share this with you because I want you to see this. I just got through doing a garden after Eden came to town. And because I had to go pick up a letter, I needed some kind of photo ID between now and the time I get my next ID. And this fell out. Let me show you what it says. It says New City Heights Gardens Subdivision. New City Heights Gardens. New Jerusalem Heights Gardens. What? Yeah, it says New City Heights Gardens. Now, here's the other thing. There were some numbers in here, like city block, this and that, and whatever. And I blotted them out. But if I was to take it the way the Lord showed me to read it, like here it is, this number, it means Alpha. I am the beginning, the Father of gathering to take up. That's the numbers that's on that deed, that the way the Lord showed me. This is what I want you to see, but I'm not going to share, all this personal information online. But anyway, because then if someone shows up, I know they had to go try and dig it up and find it, and then they're being disingenuous no matter what. So anyway, but again, there's a caveat. It's in my house. It's a complete violation of personal space for anyone to come by and think that anyone sent you other than the enemy, because he didn't. The Lord didn't send anyone. He told me he wouldn't. Okay, now moving right along. So anyway, so here we go. This is the introduction to what you're about to see, is these miracles rolling out the day they're happening, the moment they're happening. I'm documenting what the Lord's telling me to do before I even do it. And so I'm going to play all these reels for you, so you'll see me, dressed in 10 different things, out working in a garden, or I'll be at a nursery, or I'll be at Home Depot, or I'll be at Lowe's. I'll be in all these different places while you're watching this video, just documenting, this is what's going on, guys. Oh my God, this is crazy. And so, without any further ado, I love you in Christ. Here is the documentation of all the stuff that's happened. And I'm going to also, after the whole thing plays, I'm going to reiterate the miracles that happened with the I am the door thing, the way the Lord did the I am the door. And then Fallon sent me a text at 12:21, and the Lord said, pay attention. And Fallon out of nowhere wrote, I was checking out this scripture, I am the door. I'm like, what? I just had a back and forth with the Lord over I am the door and which piece of hardware to use. And now you're sending me a text that says I am the door? And Fallon just happened to be revisiting John chapter 20, I believe, and thought she would send it to me right after the Lord and I had a back and forth about how to hang the trellis with the tree of life on it. And he told me to use a door hinge, which I thought was super weird. And I'm like, well, can I use this little U-shaped piece of metal? And the Lord told me, well, if you want to, you can try. And I got up there on a ladder and it wouldn't work because the beam was rotted out, so the screws wouldn't go in from below. But a door hinge, they would go in from the side. Anyway, it's so crazy. So anyway, after I did what the Lord said, I hung this trellis that's got the tree of life on it. After I did that, Fallon texts me at 1221. 1221. 1221 means at any moment, at any time, at any time. Then after I cut the geodes open, after the purple flower had bloomed outside, I cut the geode open and it matched identically the flower in the trellis, like the Lord was paying for our misdeeds, our shame. 75, 76. And the change, 24, 24 is the most important. Anyway, I hope you guys watch all these and take them all to heart. I'm doing the best I can to, explain what I can before you watch all this. But let's just let it roll, man. You guys watch all this, and then I'll do a summary at the very end. But you want to see crazy? You want to see mind-blowing? You want to see the Lord doing something? Just watch all this. Okay, I love you guys. Here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to add on for a sec. Check this out. So I just drove up. And again, here's the transplanted vine right here that was here last year. I was told to put this here last year, and this thing is reaching over the trellis. And look at this, check it out. It just blossomed. This thing blossomed. This is the one from this side. The one from this side. Now this is the one. This one right here, this is the one he had me put in the other day. It blossomed right in the center head symbol. That's crazy. Okay, look at that. There it is. This one's the same. How crazy. Look at that. Wow. Super cool. There it is. That one's blossoming, going over the wedding arch. And now here's really crazy. This thing looks like it. Look how close it is. It's almost there. Check it out. Got it. Just some serious gardening going on around here. I just want to document this. So there's the purple geode. Corey's here. Corey, I bought these geodes without knowing what color these flowers were, right?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. And but these were closed up anyway. We couldn't see them. No, and then the flower opened, and then the geo matched the flower. Yes.
Yep.
That is absolutely insane. So here's the one coming over the top. It's coming over the top towards the middle head symbol, and then the one coming from here, that's the one that's the same color also as the geode. It's the same exact flower, and they're coming together.
Almost ready to tie.
They're almost ready to combine. So that one, oh, by the way, I looked up this one last night. It's called Passion Flower Incarnata, which means incarnation. So the tree of life, passion flower incarnata that bloomed, same color as the purple thing. Now this purple one's coming over that matches that purple one, and my brain's completely fried. So I just got to document this. I mean, this is, maybe the human brain's not equipped to handle this much supernatural stuff, because it's just, okay. The whole thing going on right here, those plants that are in the ground, that just went in the ground that I picked up, they literally had grown to the top of the trellis. They had folded over, and they had grabbed the base of the same plant. You can see it, like, you can see that this plant right here was totally folded over, and it was grabbed on down there. I had to break it free. It had to be broken free of the rest of the plant because it was basically upside down. So the vine on all these, by the way, this one too, the exact same thing. I had to unfold the plant, literally unfold it, break the little tendrils and push it up because it had made a fold. It had made a complete fold and grabbed on, just like if I was bent over grabbing my ankles and my tendrils had tied on and I couldn't move. That's what was going on with all these plants. There's still one over here that I haven't gotten to, and you can see right here that it already snapped off because it was upside down grabbing itself. Do y'all know how crazy that is? Considering who I am and what I do. Anyway, I'm documenting it right now because I've got some more work to do to get this finished. But before I just, I was like, I better just make sure I get that on camera because it's not even possible. It literally was folded over, grabbing its own base, and it was choking itself out. All these are passion flowers that the Lord told me to put right here in front of my house, in front of the het symbols on this house, and let the tendrils go up here. I'll get to the whole thing in a minute. My brain's gonna explode. This is crazy. So, just to be clear, this whole bush right here has passion flowers on it. A friend of mine gave me a totally different passion flower a year ago, and we planted it. And last year, the Lord told me, put this archway right here, like a wedding arch, and I did last year. And I watched the transplanted plant start growing almost over the archway, and that's the same plant. But we got to the end of the summer, everything kind of stopped. That plant was 2 inches from hitting that het symbol on the middle wall. On the middle right there, that het symbol. The plant was 2 inches from touching that thing. And then it just stopped growing, and then it kind of stopped, and then it receded 6 inches. And then I knew the growing spurt was over. I thought maybe last year it was going to reach over and grab that het symbol, you know, a passion flower. I was like, which represents Christ. I was just like, that's crazy. But it stopped. Now this year it resurged, and it's all, I mean, it's like the most prolific plant in the yard. Okay, so this whole bush right here is covered. These right here are passion flower leaves right here, these big wide ones. And this is, I'm not even sure, I think they call it Carolina jasmine or something. I don't even know. Anyway, so here's the other passion flower right here that's growing over this thing. And last year it grew all the way over the top, and it was almost on this het symbol in the middle of the house, which would be the place in Calvary where Jesus was crucified, because this house has 3 het symbols on it. The Lord told me, don't take those out. I was going to take them out when I got the house. He said, don't, it represents the mercy seat. So I left these 3 red clay bricks in there. The other bricks are granite. And I was like, what, Lord, why'd you want me to leave those red bricks? And I heard him say it represents the mercy seat. I had no idea what a het symbol was when I asked him. And I asked a friend of mine, I said, hey, do you recognize these bricks? Do they mean anything to you? And he goes, yeah, that's a het symbol in Hebrew. I go, really? He goes, yeah, it represents Christ. And 3 of them together mean Jesus is Jesus the Savior, I believe. There's 1, 2, 3 on the front of this house in the exact same orientation as the crosses at Calvary. So anyway, to have 2 different passion flowers that are growing over a wedding arch towards a het symbol in the middle of 3 het symbols is kind of weird. It's kind of impossible. So now, the things that have happened in the past day, I mean, I'm overwhelmed. I'm trying to process it. These 3 new passion flowers are a totally different passion flower. I was told to put those in today. I mean, out of nowhere. I was like, what? So I was at this nursery and I bought these right here, and it was another one of those things that just no way it happened, but it happened. And then I brought them home to put them in, and they're bent over with their own tendrils wrapped around their own bases, and they couldn't go up. They were trapped in the down position. Every one of these, every single one. That's insane. So I cut them free, and then I did what he told me. He had told me put tendrils in front of the windows, put them up, and then put these new passion flowers here. So now there's 3 different kinds, which is whatever, but the idea of what happened here and the miraculous things that happened today are like one for the books. It's like Chinati on steroids, dude. It's like, what just happened? Plants that were permanently bent over, they were wrapped around their own leaves like they were choking themselves out. And now they're cut free. And now the other two are going over a wedding arch towards the middle het symbol with a brand new one that's been set free at the bottom, all going up. It's like, okay. Oh, I don't know what to say except it's past impossible. There's no words for it. It's so impossible. That's why I probably can't. Hopefully I don't sound like Daffy Duck losing his mind. But this is actually happening. It's like, wow, you know, this is really happening. Something that's beyond the human brain. Plants to convey a message? Okay. He can use a boiling pot, right? Jeremiah, what do you see? A boiling pot. Yeah. An enemy will spill over, will boil over from the north. Boy, that's not kidding. No kidding. I get it. I get it. This is mainly for me and Corey and the gang. So very strange thing yesterday with all the plants and all this insane 24/24 testimony and all the absolutely impossible things that happen. One thing I was told to do is to get a geode that's split it in half and then put the two halves, one half by each het symbol, and then a whole one put together. You know, the only place I knew to go get a geode was down here at Farmer's Market. There's this like shop that I bought rocks before. So I came down here and I asked and she led me over to these 3 black geodes. Or 2 black ones and 2 white ones. So I'm just holding on to that. Where my geodes are, and then we're gonna pop those open later. Huh? Yeah, go ahead and ring those. So there they are. So I'm documenting this from my own brain right here. Corey and I are down at this hole in the wall that used to be this little teeny hole in the wall Mexican restaurant called Mi Tierra, which means my land. Anyway, but I went as instructed by the Lord to go get a geode and open it and put 2 halves, one on the right hand, the other one on the left, and then take a whole one and put it together and put it in the center. Now, I've never ever seen, that's Corey, I've never ever seen in my life a black geode. Never. Not once. Never in my life have I seen a solid black rock that's a geode. And I walked in and just asked, and she's like right there, and she had like 3. So anyway, so I looked down and I'm like, yeah, well, you know, there's basically only 3 to choose from. I need 2 of them no matter what. So she goes, well, you got to buy it before you can open it. Apparently they're already cut, but they have like a rubber band around them or something. And so you can't just open up the geode in the store. They're like, oh no. They don't want you to see what's in it until you buy it, right? Yeah. So anyway, so I buy the geodes. Yes, I already made the deal. And then she's going to put them on the counter, and I walk around the shop. And she's digging in some stuff, and she's carrying some really heavy stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? Just want to get Corey in there. And I'm like, what are you? I thought she needed some help. So I offered to help her pick up some heavy rock stuff. I'm like, would you like some help with that? Like, what are you doing? And she goes, oh, I think I have a bigger one. A bigger one what? A bigger geode. Thank you so much. Perfect. So a bigger geode. So she's like, I think I have a bigger one, right? So anyway, so long story short, thank you. So long story short, she starts digging through some stuff and she pops out this pretty big black, totally round, freaking, looks like it should be in a catapult rock. Anyway, so we haven't opened those yet, but we're gonna. But I want to document it. So we had to come down here to Farmer's Market area to get it. So I figured while we're there, we're gonna eat some quick Mexican food at Mi Tierra later. Okay, so I did what the Lord told me to do. These plants were folded in half. They were literally folded in half, choking themselves out. Corey, I put these in last night, yes?
Yep.
So these went in last night. Check this out. Look at that. Look at that crazy flower in the middle. Oh, look at that. None of these are not blooming yet. Look at that. That's insane.
That's a cool looking flower.
That is crazy. Wow.
Wow, look how fast that thing.
And now I have these black geodes. This, you know, if I never air this, if I never show this to the general public, I'm just doing it for myself because it's like watching the Lord God do something in real time. And we've gotten to see it for how many days?
I don't know, maybe 7, 8 days in a row.
It's crazy. Just literally watching the Lord work and knowing He's doing it. He's proving He's doing it. Crazy. I've never seen a black geode before in my life. I find this very strange, just very interesting. And she said, I can't let you buy it or open it, and you have to buy it first. See, they have these bands around them. Apparently these have been cut and they're ready to be opened, but she's like, you can't, you know, open it. You have to buy it first. This is what I know is to be a geode. I've cut open geodes before from Colorado, and it's fascinating that, you know, these the ones that she had were these black. I mean, they look like volcanic. Anyway, what's crazy is she had these three, and then she went and found this one. She said, look, I found a bigger one I'll give to you. And so I'm going to go ahead and open it. I just felt it twinge in my hand, and I'm going to open it. Hey, Corey, come here for a sec. So I wanted to show this to Corey. I just opened it.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
That is exactly what you said. Watch it be pink inside. I was like, what the fuck? Shut up.
Yeah.
Excuse my language, guys, but that's just guy talk. What in the world? That's insane. Okay, so the second one we just popped open, and it's pink as well. That's just nuts. That is just really crazy. You know, Corey called that actually. He goes, watch it be pink inside.
Oh, really?
It's totally pink inside. You know, with the whole idea with all the crazy coinciding with 2424 and all these other numbers, this is nuts. Just the whole thing. Okay, I'm just going to document this. Nuts. Okay, I stand corrected. This one is purple. That is absolutely nuts. That's crazy.
It is.
And
That's awesome looking.
the Lord had told me I had to go buy these. Corey knows, he heard me say all this. You have to go buy these geodes, hollow rocks. He said they have to be hollow. Split one in half, put one half on each head symbol, and then put one in the middle that's together. And a purple flower just bloomed outside when I transplanted the plant last night, and you couldn't see anything that looked like there was going to be a flower, not even close. And it flowered last night, the same color. This is so beyond my brain right now. I literally planted these in the dark last night. It's on video. But look at that. Standing in the mud. Look at this flower. And look at the geode. That's insane. And he said the one in the middle put back together. So, anyway, not the best camera work there, but you get the idea. The word upon this rock, I will build my church. Well, kefa means hollow rock and to bend down. That's what Peter means, but that's not what Petra means. Petra. Peter is Petros. That is nuts. How in the world is that even remotely possible? Look at the color on a geode he told me to go get. That bloomed this morning, you guys. I transplanted these last night. There's one still there waiting to go in the ground. Wow. I want to document just how wild all this is about this bush. And that's a passion flower. These are passion flower leaves. And these are the ones that came with the bush. That one's pink. I want to just show you some. Here's a pink geode and a pink passion flower. Now, what's so crazy is the passion flower that so the passion flower that's on this bush right there is basically pink with a little blue. It's pink. It's predominantly pink. For the Lord to tell me to go get geodes, hollow rocks is what he told me to go get. And then to split one in half and put 1/2 by 1 het symbol. There's 1 het symbol right here on 1/2 of the house. And then there's another het symbol over there on the other half behind that tree. And then there's one in the middle. And one in the middle is right there. For him to tell me to go get geodes that I had no clue what was inside of a rock. And I went to a rock store in a Mexican market downtown, and the lady said you have to pay for it before you open it, because you could open it and it could be really nothing inside, that's nothing spectacular. But she said you have to pay for it first, because you can't open it and then go, oh, I don't like it. So anyway, so I bought the geodes and I opened up the first one and it was bright pink. I've never seen a black geode in my life, ever. I mean, I've never seen a black geode. This thing's solid pink inside. And then the other one is purple, which is the exact same color as that flower that's right there in the middle het symbol. And we have this other flower that's growing over the top that's a transplant. That one right there. And I think that one's a blue flower. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know for sure what it's going to look like. But for one geode to have this kind of purple and match the flower that's in the exact... So this purple flower matches the purple flower that's right there in alignment with the middle het symbol, like representing Christ in the middle. Purple. Purple rock, purple flower. Pink rock, pink flower. I mean, that's crazy. You can't go buy 2 rocks and open them up and then they match the flowers that he's telling you to work on that day. That's just not even possible. I mean, my brain is just splat. What? It's just mind-boggling. That means he knew all of this. He knew what would happen when I opened these rocks. He knew about these flowers, what they would do. You talk about being in control. That is serious control. Okay, I just want to document this. I'm at Lowe's. I've left Home Depot. I came over here. I just wanted to get a little bit of this machine. So that is the new key that I just got. Over at Home Depot. And then You see the two arches right there? It stands for minute key. I'm just going to document this.
Select your new keys.
Okay. Okay, let's see. This is actually different than the other one. How weird. But it's a minute key, just like the other one. Let's see. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is so interesting. It's the same type of machine. It's a little bit different, but it's got the same thing going on. It's just some very strange things. Interesting. How random. It gave me two. I only asked for one. I asked for one key. And it gave me two that are both trees. I only asked for one, and it said you get a free one if you just choose the brass one, which is what I did, but it gave me these two. So it says copying 3 of 3. I guess it gives you 2 then of the one I picked, which was the tree, and then the brass one's free. And then the brass one's free with the double arches.
Don't fly out without your keys. Please remove your key and rest safe with our accuracy guarantee.
With all the bizarre things that have happened in the last 48 hours, as I left my key over there and I'm walking towards the end over there, I just look over and I just see this, and in my spirit I heard, look at it. Like there's all these t-shirts here. But I looked specifically at this and I heard, look at it. Well, I can't see what it is. So I look at the sign and it says, warning, this is not a drill. Whatever. I'm about ready to freak out. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do this, but I think I am. I think I'm supposed to put these in front of the plants so they're able to fill in on another trellis, one coming from one direction, one coming from the other direction, and coming together in the middle. These are basically 2 of these things that are right side up, but they've been laid on their side and put down. I'm just gonna leave them here because I'm not sure. I gotta go home and ask. I just heard yes while I'm talking to y'all. Yeah. Just find it interesting that in the middle of while I'm doing this whole thing to the front yard, while all this is going on, I just called the guys and said, hey, would you guys like just a sandwich? It's just a sandwich shop. So I came to pick up sandwiches to go for Corey and Zach and myself, and Steven's coming by. So I came over here. What's just fascinating is I put in these 2 arches as per requested, you know, and it's very interesting. So there's these 3 arches. What's really fascinating is I'm sitting in the place looking at 3 arches that are mirrors. the mirror. Martyr mirror. That's from my own recollection. Martyr mirror.
Don't fly out without your keys. Please remove your key and
So my phone is at home and Zach is downloading all this crazy stuff that's happened in the past couple days. Literally the Lord telling me, I want you to plant these 3 plants right in front of your wall of your house, 1 at each het symbol. And I'm just thinking, what strange instructions. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm like, very strange. I want you to plant these plants. And so I did what the Lord said. He told me, I want you to go find hollow rocks. I want you to get 2 hollow rocks, and I want you to take one that's split open and put half on each side of the center het symbol, representing like 1 cross on the right, Jesmus and Desmus. So take a hollow rock, split it in half, and put half on each side. And I'm like, that's weird. And then I heard, and then get another hollow rock, open it up, and then put it back together and put it in the center het symbol. Put it at the center het symbol, which would represent the cross of Christ. So, split open a rock that's hollow. Take the halves and put them where the 2 other het symbols are, 1 on each side, representing Jesmus and Desmus, your good half and your bad half. Get another hollow rock, open it up, look at it, and then put it together, like the 2 pieces together in the dead center het symbol, which would represent the cross of Christ in the middle, which is on my house in the form of bricks, red clay bricks in the form of a het symbol. And I'm thinking, this is so bizarre. What is so weird. I planted the plants. Within a few hours after planting a plant under the center het symbol, the cross of Christ, a royal purple flower. I mean, this crazy royal purple flower came out of the vine that I just planted. It didn't show any signs of anything when I planted it. As a matter of fact, the vine was literally bent over the top of the bamboo trellis. It bent over and it had sent out little tendrils and grabbed its own base and couldn't stand up. The plant itself had wrapped itself down and grabbed its own base with its own tendrils and couldn't get up. I had to cut the tendrils and stand the plant up in the center. Think about that. Do you know how crazy that is? Okay. Then I cracked open the first rock, and it's pink. Well, guess what color the natural passion flowers are that are on the bush all around, sorry about that, that are on the bush all around this fountain? They're pink. The passion flowers are pink. The other flower that bloomed overnight after being transplanted. I mean, plants don't just bloom after they've been transplanted, especially when there's 0 flowers on the plant. It's been over, it can't stand up. I uncut the tendrils and stood it up, put it on a little bit of a trellis, and by the next morning, it had bloomed a big royal purple flower. When I cut open the second rock, when I opened up that second geode, it was the same color as the flower, royal purple. I was like, what in the world? And then the Lord told me, open up to Genesis. I think it was 25. It said, in thy womb are 2 manner of people. 2 manner of people. Think of the serpent race and the sheep race. 2 manner of people. One will be stronger than the other, but the elder shall serve the younger. My mind is fried. Ready for this? Then I have to come to Home Depot, which is where I'm at now, because I'm missing a set of keys that goes to the building I do videos in, and I'm like, where are my other sets of keys? So I have one set that's like the backup, you know, the set that I know exactly where it is, but the other sets I can't find. So I thought I better go back up my keys in case I lock the door and lock the keys in it. So I come to Home Depot. They have an automatic key machine. It makes keys automatically. You just stick the key in the machine and it grabs it. Then it gives you a display. What key do you want? You pick a picture, Spider-Man, whatever, flowers, whatever. Well, I've gotten keys here before and I know what their choices are. They had a brand new choice for your key when I put my key in. This is the set of keys. This is the set of keys that I had to copy. This is the set right here. So that's the set of keys. There's two different keys. They look very much the same. I can only delineate because one's on a bigger ring. So anyway, I got to copy both these keys. And when I put the first key in, it gives me the choices. What do you want your key to look like? So it gives me the choice, and I'm like, wow, they got a new key. Let me show you what the new key is. The new key is this. It is like the tree of life. Do you know that's what I just hung up above the het symbol on the wall? That's what the Lord told me to put on the wall, hanging from the ceiling, hanging from in front of the house, so the vine could go over the wedding arch and go up the tree trellis. It's a trellis for a vine to grow up. It's exactly the same as this. Okay, I was like, that's crazy that they would have this in there now. They didn't have it. I'm giving you a 100% truthful testimony. This key was not in that machine last time I made keys. Okay, so now I have these two keys that look identical that I'm copying. So I've copied one. This is one of them. Sorry, this is the one I copied. And I still have one left to copy, but I'm thinking I have to be able to delineate between the deadbolt and the key and the knob that goes in the doorknob. And so I thought, you know what? I'm not going to get two that are the same tree. And so I just pressed, give me just a regular, gold colored key. And it gives me this key right here. I want you to look at this. You see, I'm like, what is that? How weird. What a strange design. It's like a double arch and then like a triangle coming out. It's like the letter M and the letter K. And I'm like, that's weird. I just put up two arches at the house in this project that the Lord told me once. This is a perfect representation of what just got put up. Okay. That and this is absolutely insane because these two things is exactly what's on the front of my house. This is crazy. It's a different level of beyond the human brain. It's a whole different world mentally. It's a whole different world that I'm in. I mean, I'm a spiritual being in a flesh body and I know that, but I'm seeing things in a way where there is a controller of all things that is so far beyond your brain that you can't even imagine how in control the Lord God is. I mean, He is so in control, my brain is fried. I literally have a hollow pink rock that matches the flowers on the bush that makes a giant eye with a fountain in the middle in front of my house. Literally. I open up a rock and it matches the flowers. The rock is pink inside, the flowers are pink. The other rock that I open up, it matches exactly the other flower that the Lord told me to transplant a vine that had 0 flowers. You couldn't tell what kind of flowers were going to be on this plant when it was planted. There was no picture of flowers. There was no nothing. It was just, it said passion flower vine. That's it. And the Lord told me, get those and plant them on the wall, going up the wall. And I did it. And by the time I had planted it at night in the dark, by the next day it had bloomed and it was the same color purple as a geode I had opened. What? Then I go get 2 keys, and the first key is identical to what's going on the house, and then the second key is identical to what's going on the house with the flowers and the trellises. It's beyond the, I mean, it's like, whoa, short circuit. Anyway, all glory to God, man. The Lord's in control, I guarantee it. All right, documenting. Just for the record, this is the little bag that your keys come in. You drop them in this little bag when you go to pay for them. Well, I wanted to get in there to them, and I just kind of ripped them off the bottom. But I heard the Lord say, pay attention. And I look at the bag, and the bag says, attention. Attention. There's a key that's like the tree of life, and one that's like the arches in front of my house that just went in within the last couple days. That is crazy. And in my spirit, I'm like, it's pay attention, get ready, like here it comes. I'm like, so I know I need to tell y'all all this, and it's awkward because I'm just gonna look at you and tell you I have an open door. The Lord has placed before me an open door of communication. Now Corey sees it every day, Zach sees it every day, y'all don't. I give you guys testimonies, I put them on YouTube, but you guys have no idea. I mean, I'm just gonna say it, it's as obvious as it gets. This is what it is to be an end time harbinger and prophet. The Lord communicates directly. And it's in a way that you can't even imagine or perceive. You have to be converted. It's beyond the human brain. It's just past the human brain. It's a whole nother source. It's a whole different thing. I'm not of this world at all. I'm in it, but I'm not of it. I've been cleansed for being in it as well. And now I realized everything in my past points to who I was and who I was going to be. Everything, even my name, Yahweh is given. A messenger that rings the bell and gathers the church. Jonathan Kleck. Even my name bears witness to everything. It's insane. Literally insane. Anyway, just documenting so I document everything. The Lord told me document everything. Wow, guys, the end is coming right now. Okay. So I want to just zero in on my front door. That's my front door. Those are 2 doves from the night under the stars. And I brought those home and put them on my front door. Now, I want you guys to look at something that's absolutely insane. I put in those 2 arches. This is what the Lord told me to do the other day. I documented. That arch is a trellis. That arch over there, it's identical to this one. The one over there on the other window, it's identical. That's what I was told to do. Now, then I was told to put this up. It's a miracle all in itself. I hung that down here, and then that's gonna be a trellis. When that vine right there goes over and grows over, it's gonna land on there. That's apparently what he wants me to do. So I did what he said, and then I went to go get these 2 keys. You guys wanna see crazy? And not only is this thing behind me, this whole bush makes an eye. The entire bush, if you look down from above, with the fountain coming out, it looks like an eye. And it's when all these passion flowers start coming out, which they began to do this morning, it's going to turn like pink. It was all pink last year. The whole thing was pink passion flowers. Now there's a purple, royal purple flower that came out right down there within a few hours after being transplanted. It had no flowers on it, zip. And the plant itself was folded over with tendrils grabbing its own base, and it couldn't stand upright. Every single plant he had me put in was identical. Bent over, gotten to the top of this, and then made a U-turn, went down, and then the tendrils grabbed its own base, like all of us. We're half up, half down. I just went and got these 2 keys, and I'm telling you, it's so random. Now, watch this. I'm going to just turn around. You see that tree behind me, right there where the key is? Look at this key. It's the same. That key right there is identical to the tree that's right behind me. Now, you want to see crazy? I just hit give me like a regular gold key so I could delineate the keys, and look at this. It's like a double, it's like a double arch. I've never seen it. Look at that key. I mean, how weird. It's literally like the Lord's telling me this is the end of the cycle, and he's using bushes, flowers, and rocks to communicate the message. And I know exactly what he's saying because I followed every step he told me to do. He told me to put these in. He told me to go get these rocks. And everything matches? Okay. Walked in way over there. That's where you walk in. I walked all the way over here. I haven't looked at anything since I walked in. And here's all I've looked at. Boom. Fire starters. Jealous devil. Every barbecue is a bomb with a boom. Okay. And so what? You might say, that's what I'm saying. So what, right? Then I look over, that's the next one. It's another thing for boom. Okay, so now I'm back in my car after leaving this Home Depot. I'm getting some baling wire that I need to finish the job. I was thinking from y'all's point of view on that side of the camera, you know, I can see that, you know, someone watching you go, okay, this guy's lost it. I can see that point of view. But the same person that is telling you all this, that same person has laid hands on not one, not two, like there's getting to be a pretty good litany of people that have been healed supernaturally of incurable diseases, and people that were blind and that have almost perfect vision now. So the same person that laid hands on people that were terminally ill, they got well. Little girl that was legally blind, she's got almost perfect vision. Juan Longoria, blind in one eye, his vision came right back. Dave Young, he was incurable eye problem. They took fluid out of his spinal. They did some kind of spinal fluid extraction to try and help him. Couldn't do it. Laid hands on him. He's totally cured. He went to his doctor, and his doctor said, well, you telling me that some guy laid hands on you is the only thing I would believe because you are incurable. That's Dave Young's testimony about when I laid hands on him. His doctor said, well, of course I believe you because Dave told the doctor. This is what happened. I went to San Antonio. This guy laid hands on me and my vision's no more pain, no more blurred vision, no more headaches. Anyway, so the point is, the same guy that's having all this wild stuff happen right now, that's an end of the world harbinger, the same guy that showed you the Vatican is a snake, that when in the mouth of the snake inside the Vatican building is a big dead sheep with its tongue sticking out, made up of a bunch of angels. Okay, that same guy that showed you all that supernatural data is the guy doing this video. So that I would pay attention. You know what I mean? If you're watching this video and like, who is this guy? This guy had almost 200, well, I've lost more than 200,000 subs with the channels that they canceled on YouTube. So more than 200,000 subs, about 220,000 when you take the other two channels that they knocked it down also. Several 100 million views. The same guy that did all that is the guy that's telling you right now what's going on with this last, I don't know, couple weeks. This young lady came to town named Eden. The Lord told me to tell her to come to town. She was under serious demonic attacks. And she came to town and we went and prayed and I laid hands on her in the same alley where I got saved. And it just happened to be in front of a stained glass window of the Garden of Eden. Without me even realizing it. Her name's Eden. And where I got saved in the alley of the St. Anthony, there's a stained glass window looking out that alley of Adam in the Garden of Eden. Anyway, there's too many supernatural things. It's like, it's beyond the human brain. So I would just advise everybody, I would say, it's the same guy that did all these crazy miracles that he didn't do them, he participated in them. The Lord God's the one that does them all. I just get to go for the ride, and it's quite a ride. So anyway, so the same person is telling you all these wild things are happening right now with this wedding arch. And since Eden came to town, everything has just exploded. Once I went down that alley and I prayed with Eden for her restoration, and it's the Lord's just showing, you know, Eden restored. All the miracles that happened when Eden were here were just off the chart. And then, you know, since she's left, you know, do the helmet thing, and my face turns to light, my hands turn to light. All these really crazy supernatural things are happening, and I'm trying to document them so you guys can believe. It's like there is a harbinger among you, and sometimes I almost can't believe it myself, but it's all true. It's mind-boggling. I'm starting to feel a little bit like Woody Harrelson in what was it, 2012 or something. You know, this is Good Time Charlie. I got goosebumps. It's crazy stuff going on. Anyway, I love you guys in Christ. I'm going to document it all, stitch it all together, let you watch it, and I'll explain it. Do what you want with it. I've been faithful to do my part. So, okay, that's all I want, is to be faithful. Okay, I love you guys in Christ. I'm out here just trying to finish the project that I've been given, and I'm just tweaking it. And so this vine, this is the transplant from last year, and this thing is growing like a wild vine over the top of this wedding arch. It looks like it's getting ready to bud as well. Anyway, just fascinating. This is also fascinating. Somehow plants involved. So crazy. Geodes are involved. Anyway, so there it is. But look at that thing reaching out. See it reaching out? You guys can see the angle, yeah? So watch this. So that thing is just gonna go, if it goes straight, even if it gets heavy, it's gonna fall and it's gonna hit right around here. So we have a big rainstorm coming tonight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little wire from over there just to here, so it has something to rest on if it gets pounded all night with rain. But that's where it's going. Look how obvious this thing is, just going gangbusters, reaching out towards that tree. Look at that, just, it's almost there. That's crazy. Yeah, so I want to document just another part of this wild, just communication, this ongoing, I don't know what to call it, except wide open door of communication. Proving it. So let me give you an example. There's already a little clip when I went to Lowe's, and when I went over to Lowe's, and the Lord just keeps sending me, go do this, go get this, put this, do this, install this. And I'm just thinking, this is so wild, but the Bible says my sheep hear my voice. And in the night I got saved, Michael said, Jonathan, learn to trust that little voice. It's God speaking to you. And since then, he's had me lay hands on people that are terminally ill. They get well. People that are blind, their sight comes back. I've gotten to see the glory of God by stepping out on faith, like people you read about in the Bible. And I'm not trying to be, oh, I'm special, because I'm almost embarrassed about it. It's like, God, why would you let me do this? It's weird. It's just like no one deserves anyway. So back to what I'm saying. So when I was at Lowe's, I was just documenting this key thing again because it was so strange. And then this key machine spits out two keys that are identical, which it wasn't supposed to, but it did. And it was both the tree of life. One was right side up, one was upside down. And I was actually videotaping it while it happened. Then it gave me this extra free key, which was supposed to be just one tree of life key, one brass key. Anyway, it's on the clip. You guys can watch the clip. I'm just butchering it. The point is, when I was over there and I walked away from the key machine, I was talking to the Lord while I'm in Lowe's, just, Lord, what's going on? Well, I mean, this is wild. What are you doing? I looked over and I looked right at this shirt and it said, this is not. That's what was on this black shirt. And the Lord just made me look at it and was like, pay attention. And it's some shirt that's all folded up into a square and it says, this is not. And I hear the Lord say, pay attention. And so I'm like, well, I can't read what the shirt says because it's all folded. It's got this paper band around it to where you cannot unfold it and read it. But right there on where the shirt is, there's other shirts. And there's a display that's cardboard that's got pictures. And so I look in and I figure, well, it's probably on there. This is probably the display that's got the picture of all the shirts. And I'm sitting there going, how bizarre. I'm at Lowe's, a hardware store. And the Lord is directing my full attention on a shirt. And it says, this is not. And then the Lord says, like, pay attention. So when I look at that cardboard thing, I'm just thinking, this is so strange. And I look at it and it says, this is not a drill. And it's got a picture of a wrench and where one of the heads of the wrench is up, on the other side it's down, like equal and opposites, you know. And it says, this is not a drill. Like, haha, I get it, it's a wrench. It's a pretty funny shirt, really. I was just like, it says, this is not a drill. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like you're telling me, like, we're going live right now. There's been too much communication. I've never seen anything like it. Even going to Chinati, the Lord's communication wasn't this intense. So anyway, so when I read, this is not a drill, and I look at the picture on the cardboard of what the shirt is and what it says, I'm just like, okay, that's crazy. This is not a drill. I'm like, what, are we about to go live? You know, like, I am an end of the world harbinger, so something's got to happen. You know, I mean, Noah finally went into the ark. You know, Moses finally said, hey, man, let my people go, or we're going to have some problems. And they did. So there was a day that they walked out of Egypt. There was a day Noah got in the ark. I'm an end of the world harbinger. There's got to be the day that the church leaves. Yahweh is given a messenger that gathers the church, a town crier. There's got to be a day that something just beyond our brain happens, I would imagine. Anyway, so when I see this is not a drill, I go, you know what? I'm going to get 2 of those. I'm going to videotape it. I'm going to get a shirt for Corey. I get a t-shirt for myself and have a t-shirt to memorialize that moment. So I come home. I give Zach my phone. I tell him, you need to download all these little video clips from Lowe's now. The Lord just keeps doing it. I don't know. It's crazy. I think he's telling us this is not a drill. This is about to happen. And so I said, download everything on this, you know, since the last download. And so Zach goes, okay. And I tell him what's going on. And I tell him, you know, and I let Zach watch and Corey watch the little clips from Lowe's. And when they see me going, this is not a drill. And I'm like, I'm not sure what this shirt says, but you know, it says right here on the cardboard, this is not a drill. And I'm like, haha. Anyway, and Zach's like, oh my God. And he goes, I just went for a walk with Bowie. And he goes, and I was walking, just saying out loud, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. And I was like, wait. So while I was basically at Lowe's, and the Lord was directing my full attention to a t-shirt that says, this is not a drill, Zach and Corey are out doing like some physical training with the wolf. And Zach's just saying out loud, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. This is not a drill. And Zach's like, when do I ever do something like that? Which he doesn't. But he was even wondering himself, why am I out here walking the dog just saying repetitively, this is not a drill? Okay, I'm giving you a testimony, like, I'm in a court of law, guys. This is what's going on. And getting this wedding arch together like he's had me do, and there's more miracles than I honestly can keep track of. And I'm looking at you and I'm being honest. If I was in a court of law, they said, Mr. Kleck, how many miracles have happened in the last 48 hours? And, you know, I'd say, well, actual miracles, I mean, that I would define as a miracle. 10, 15, maybe 20, possibly. I'm not sure, but a lot. It's been nonstop communication. The thing is, with the motorcycle helmet and all that, the Lord told me, record it before you do it. So I did. Y'all saw it. I recorded what the Lord was telling me to do. And when I put on the other helmet, like he told me to do, with the Kleck coat of arms, which is a shofar and a king's crown, like I'm announcing the arrival of the king, that's what the Kleck coat of arms is. And he says, put on this helmet I sent you, because he used somebody out, you know, in the world, a believer in Christ, to send me a motorcycle helmet with the Kleck coat of arms on it, and the cycle of the earth, like angel to human to locust. He tells me to put that on, and I told everybody this is what he told me to do before I ever went and did it. And then when I went and did it, and then I go and I follow through, and Zach's recording, it's already been recorded that this is what he told me to do. And then when I put on my helmet, the one he told me to put on, my face turns to light, my hands turn to light, and you can't even see my fingers. You couldn't even make out my hand. You couldn't even make, if there wasn't a helmet, I mean, all you could see are these black things at my eyes. I mean, that's right, I had on the orange sunglasses. That's another thing. I don't wear orange sunglasses. This is the color sunglasses. Go look at every time you see me in any old video, what color sunglasses am I wearing? The blue-green lenses work the best on my eyes, and because I actually have a visual light situation for my eyes, that they told me you need to wear shades, because the way your eyes deal with light, you should always wear shades. And the ones that I found to be the best and easiest on my eyes were the blue-green colors. And so I don't wear sunglasses that are orange, although I have some of them, because I have a lot of sunglasses, because I used to be flat eyewear. I mean, flat sunglasses. I've got sunglass racks. But I put on a pair of red sunglasses, and the Lord told me to put on red sunglasses when you put on the helmet. And I did. And you know what? My face disappeared. It turned into light. My hands disappeared. They turned into light. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's on video. You can't fake what happened. Just like the room in Houston at the Ark, when I was recording what the Lord had told me to do to that building. I was documenting in front of 7 witnesses probably. This is what the Lord told me to do, and I'm going through with a video camera, and he told me I had to do metallic epoxy on the floor, and I was just documenting. He told me to put the Acts of Peter on the wall. He told me to put this image on the wall, and I was doing exactly what he told me to do. And then the whole building turns to light inside of a box, and you couldn't even see out the front door, because it turned to solid light, like a wall of white light. And the people that were there, you can hear them in the video. What is going on? Oh my God. You can hear Ryan and Steve, and I mean, freaking out. Alex, they're all like, what in the, I'm going like, are we being raptured right now? I mean, I didn't know. I'm serious. I was like, are we being raptured? Because the whole room's turning to white, bright light. I mean, what would you think? I was like, I think maybe we're being raptured. So you can hear me in that video. I go like this. I go, I don't know. And I just kept going, I don't know. Because I was like, I think we're going. But We didn't get raptured, but message received. Our bodies house light. We're light beings. He communicated all that using the manifestation, the miracle at the ark. He used that as a way to teach me. He used Trinity as a way to teach me. Two halves of the same rock is what we are. You know, we have to be put back together. That's why he was crucified in between two thieves that had committed insurrection with Barabbas, son of the Father. So we're guilty of insurrection with son of the Father, and which is the flesh, and we took on flesh. So he's willing to come. So see, he used the two rocks in Trinity to teach me. It's a teachable moment. I gave you two halves of the same rock and told you to put it back together, meet face to face, get it, both faces come together, and it's a whole rock, like making us whole again. So the Lord speaks to me in the most beautiful, incredible language, that it's not just words, it's things and living plants and cutting rocks, hollow rocks in half, and sky surfing. And I mean, dude, it's blowing my mind. And he speaks to me in these ways that aren't arguable, and they're documented, so no one can say, oh, dude, you're crazy. No, I've taken 2 MMPIs, actually 3, and unremarkable testing. I'm so glad I got to take those. Actually, I was pissed at the time, but you know what? Thank God. Seriously, thank God, because I was starting to wonder, man, how come I can see all this? How come I can draw in a hieroglyph? How come I can see all this stuff other people cannot see? And it's there. I mean, the Vatican's either a snake or it's not. Well, I'm telling you, it's a snake. And the reason I know it's a snake is because the Lord God, whom I serve, showed it to me, told me what to do. Come in at a 45-degree angle to the head of the cross, the Vatican, on Google Earth, and it was an upside down cross. He told me, come in at a 45-degree angle. I want to show you something. Well, did he show me something? Well, yeah, it's a big snake with a crown. I mean, so obviously he showed me something. So obviously I'm hearing from the Creator, and it's not arguable. I don't know what to say, except I believe our time is just imminent, and I'm gonna have Zach stitch together all. Here's what I do, guys. I go somewhere and a miracle is like happening. I grab one of my cell phones and I just start documenting. Okay, I just do 1 little minute clips in a row. That's why it looks edited. I just like do 1 minute, because we can send a 1 minute email and, you know, get away with it. My phones aren't downloading. If you plug my phone into a computer, I don't know what they're doing, all my stuff. You can't pull everything off like you normally should be able to, because I've done it many times, but I don't know what they're doing. They're making my life so hard to get data, transfer data, show y'all data. They just don't want y'all seeing it. But I guarantee you, I am plugged into the Creator of all things, and the time of the destruction of the earth is imminent. And I am an end of the world harbinger, period. Because you have kept the word of my patience, I will keep you from the hour of testing. So I don't want any of y'all to be here for what's coming. I don't want one person, but that's not reality. There's going to be a small group that gets to go. And I pray to God you're one of those people. And if you're not, don't lose heart no matter what. If you're not one of the people that goes on the, you know, in the calling away, if you're not the church that gets taken out before the horror starts, stand your ground for the truth. Never lie. Don't ever lie. Don't ever take a chip in your right hand or your forehead. Don't do it. If you already took the vaccine, you have graphene in you now. You have mRNA. And they're trying to get your soul by locking you into a magnetic prison called your body. And I'm telling you, the time is imminent. Anyway, I love you guys. I wish every human being could go with me just every day for the last 5 days. Y'all, you wouldn't be able to probably mentally handle the kind of communication that he's giving me. it overloads your mind. It really does. It's like, whoa, the Creator is actually speaking to me and proving it in real time. Yes. So, while I'm driving on this little trip, just documenting, I would surmise that means that we have to be very, very close. I'm not telling you guys, oh yeah, it's happening next week or this week or tomorrow. No. But this is not a drill. I'm like, I know, it's crazy. I've got a wedding arch that's being covered by passion flowers. Passion flowers, one passion flower is like indigenous. It started growing in the bush out front that's around the fountain that makes an eye in the front of my house. I didn't plan that, it just happened. Bushes grew out of the ground around a fountain, made a giant eye. And the whole bush is covered with indigenous passion flowers, which represent Christ, but they're pink and they have 3 leaves. The one that just bloomed right in front of where the cross of Christ would be on that wall, because there's 3 crosses. I mean, there's 3 head symbols. The one in the middle would be Christ, obviously. And the passion flower that's there, that was put there, that the Lord told me to put there, it was bent over it went to the top of the trellis and it was bent over. It was bent over because it reached the top of the trellis and then it went down. So the stem itself is like bent, growing bent with a bend in it. And the trellises, the little things that vines send out and grab everything to hold on to, the trellises have grabbed the base of the plant and forced the plant to be folded in half. You know, like I show you in almost every video, there's a good you and a bad you. That's what all the plants were doing. And I had to cut the the word is tendril, not trellis. I had to cut the tendrils off the plant that was killing itself basically, and then kind of wheedle it up to get it on this trellis to try and get it to go up, you know, the wall. And when I did that, the one that's in the middle position where the cross of Christ would be, it blossomed a royal purple flower. I've never seen unbelievable flower. So anyway, the Lord is making flowers bloom. He's making rocks match the flowers. He told me you have to put these hollow rocks next to these plants. It's like, that is so strange. And then the very rocks that I open, that, you know, he tells me, you know, go get 2 hollow rocks and cut one in half and put one half on each side of the middle head symbol, like head symbol over there, head symbol over there, right and left. Put the rock that's hollow cut in half, one piece at each, you know, head symbol, and then the one in the middle, the Lord said, get a totally different hollow rock, cut it in half like a geode. He said hollow rock. I mean, that's crazy, you guys. Telling someone to get a hollow rock and cut it open and then open it up and then put it in the middle position where the cross of Christ would be, where that flower is growing up. I didn't know it was going to be a flower at all. There were no flowers on it. There's no buds on it, no nothing. And it was folded in half. Then I open it up, it flowers. It's like deep purple. And then the rock that's gonna go, you know, in the center position. Well, let me get back to the first rock. The first rock we open up, Corey even said, watch it be pink. Corey literally said, watch it be pink. I was like, dude, shut the F up, pink. I was like, you know, it's very phallic, right? I was like, come on, Corey. And I open it up and it's pink, solid pink. I was like, you gotta be kidding. And then I don't know if Corey called the second one. He may have even called the second one. I think he said, watch it be purple. And I open it up and it's the same color purple as a passion flower. And it's going in the same spot already. It already delineated it's gonna go there. And it turns out to be the same color as a flower. Do you understand? This could wreck your brain. It's like, how's that possible? How's that even remotely possible? Try and do the math on that. Like, where did the geodes come from? When were they bought? Are these like real geodes? Or are they some kind of lab grown geodes? I mean, what the heck? Does it even matter? Does it even matter? They're geodes, and when they were cut open and one's bright pink, which matches the indigenous passion flower. The indigenous passion flower is pink, and it's got 3 leaves. Well, that's interesting, because the indigenous race here is female, pink, and 3, the angel of the abyss, the serpent, is who they are. So that's kind of interesting. And then the other passion flower that I transplanted over there, it turned out to be royal purple, and then the geode I opened turned out to be royal purple. And guess how many leaves it has? 5, you know, like a star in the sky, because we're like from the stars. We are the stars, not under the stars. Freak out. Okay, I don't even know how to describe this. So the best thing I could do is just document it while it's happening and show y'all what happened, and go on a little bit of a rant like this while I'm driving, trying to just say, guys, this has something. It doesn't have to be, but you know, I'm telling you, he had me look over. It says, "This is not a drill," and it's like, haha, I get it. But and Zach's out on a walk doing his physical training with, or I don't know if Corey was with him, but Zach said he was just walking saying, "This is not a drill." Why would you be walking saying this is not a drill? What's not a drill? He said he didn't even know why he was saying it. At the same time, I'm buying a shirt that says this is not a drill. Like I could care less about buying some stupid t-shirt, but the Lord made it happen. So I'm like, I better document this and just grab Corey's shirt. I'll grab myself, you know, a cheapie from Lowe's, can use it as a work shirt or whatever. But how crazy. How crazy. Oh, glory to God. So insane. God is so much bigger than we can imagine. Anyway, here with the Chormeister. Let's show them the doves behind us. Now these doves, this is after the night under the stars. The 2 doves coming together represent the end of the cycle, and then the 2 are coming together, meeting face to face. There's 2 over here, there's 1 over here. And that's what the Lord showed me to do, because that was the end of the cycle, like of an earth. Okay, now, oddly enough, part of the testimony you probably already watched, you saw that when the Lord told me, I want you to get Zach's, some bottle of wine with the Sasquatch on it. Oh, big believer. Yeah, big believer, and what? In the presence of the Lord.
That's right. Yeah.
In the presence of the Lord. And that's Zach's own personal, crazy, wild testimony. 100% proof, you know, that God was speaking. You can listen to the testimony and see what happened and how it was recorded separate of one another. And you can see the miraculous intersection. And so what I'm doing right now is part of this strange thing that Corey was witness to, about, you know, get these hollow rocks and cut them open, and you're gonna have to get hollow rocks, cut one open, split it in half, put half on each one of these het symbols on the house behind me, 1 on each side of the middle het symbol, which represents Christ. Okay, that's what I was told to do. How bizarre! What a bizarre set of orders. And but everything I've done, has it turned out to be miraculous?
Absolutely.
Did we document all of it?
Yep.
Every bit of it. It's insane. It's literally insane. Okay, so anyway, so we did that. I cut open the 1 geode. I've never seen black geodes. Corey said, watch it be pink. It was pink. And then without getting into the whole thing at the store where I got the geodes, it was weird that I just ended up with 4. Whole different story, but I had to have the ones that I had for everything to work out like it did, and you'll understand that in a minute. One of the geodes I cut open was pink. That got split in half to 1 on each side. Another one I cut open is royal purple, which is the exact same color as the flower that opened up right there in the middle het symbol as soon as I transplanted this plant. The plant was folded over. The plant was folded over at the top of the trellis, that bamboo trellis. It was folded over. Every single plant was. And then the tendrils had grabbed its own base, and the plant couldn't stand upright. It was impossible. He had me cut the tendrils, stand the plant upright, and then when it bloomed, Within a few hours, it literally bloomed royal purple. And then I cut open the geode and it was royal purple.
That's right.
Royal purple. Same color as the flower. I mean, it's insane. Okay, without spazzing out too bad, I'm getting ready to do this. We're gonna cut open this other geode. I'm just gonna have Corey just get it. I just want to videotape it cutting open so I have, you know, here it is actually doing the stuff he said to do. Okay. Listen, you probably watched all the footage up to this point. It's been absolutely nuts. You may be going, what's up with the extra geode? I'm wondering that myself. It just ended up that way. And I'm like, okay, so I heard the Lord tell me to cut it open, and I'm gonna do what he says. This is gonna look, it's gonna be like one of those SpongeBob things where it says 3 hours later. I'm cutting it. There it is, I'm cutting it. I'm just gonna go ahead and save you probably 20 minutes of watching a grinder wheel spin. And then when it pops open, I'll turn the camera back on. All right. Later. Guys, Corey, battery's going dead?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm about 70% there, and I'm gonna see if I can get it by changing this blade. So we'll start, let's go in there and charge it. 3 hours later. Anyway, 3 hours later, actually I had to switch blades. I had to go to this other metal blade, even those are metal stone blades. So cut it open. It's pretty fascinating. You can actually see through it. It's see-through. It's like, so if I hold it up to the sky, you can see the clouds here. It needs to be washed out a little bit. Pretty cool though. I'll do a little extra video on this once I get them in. I'm just documenting. It's all cut open. There it is. There's the 2 halves. It cut open pretty cool. Just got to rinse it out. But there it is, documenting. I'm gonna document. I got the 2 stars in as told. This is wild. This is crazy. Something's about to happen, guys. Now, just very quickly for a recap, y'all remember a guy named Jeremiah? The Lord asked him, what do you see? You know, a boiling pot. And he used a boiling pot to tell Jeremiah what was going to happen. He said an enemy so fierce is going to boil over from the north. That you won't, you know, you wouldn't believe the destruction coming from the enemy that's going to boil over, like the boiling pot he was looking at. So anyway, he's doing the same thing here. He did the same thing in the past with Gideon. Get clay pots. You're gonna light some torches. You're gonna break some clay pots, and then you're gonna yell the sword, the Lord, and the sword of Gideon. So it's kind of one of those things. It's just, it doesn't really make all the sense to your brain, but after stepping out on faith and watching all the miracles, there's no way I'd go back and not do what he said, ever. If I hope I never am disobedient. Check this out, look what I just noticed. We had another bloomer. No way. Look at that thing. That's crazy. Look at that flower, you guys. That is just nuts. He told me you have to put this plant here. There was this one, there's that one, there's this one, and there's this one right here. And he said you have to put this one, but it didn't look any different than the other ones. They were all in distress. They were bent over, and they were literally grabbing their own bases. So this part of the vine was bent over, And the tendrils, these things right here, the tendrils were grabbing on way down there at the base, and so the plant was bent over and couldn't stand up. So he had me cut the tendrils, put this little thing around the plant to give it some support because it was so just rickety from being bent over. And within 12 hours, it blooms a flower just like that the other day. And today it just bloomed another one. That's crazy. And the hollow rock that he told me to get matches exactly the color of this. It's just crazy. No one could think that up. It's a plant. So anyway, he's using this again to communicate the system to me, and I understand. It's bigger than our brains can imagine. It's literally heaven marrying earth in a spiritual sense, but when heaven marries earth and comes down, all of us that have our own free will, we get trapped within her system. And she is, just like nature, a prolific killer. It is absolutely mind-boggling to see what's going on here again. I'm going to go through it all again meticulously. Just want to document, this is where he told me to put the 2 stars. Now, these are both right side up 5-pointed stars, but this would be the top of the one that's over there, and then the right here would be the top of the one that's over there. They're laid on their sides and they're intersecting, which is exactly what the Ouroboros is wrapped around. A right side up and upside down star intersecting. That's what the flesh, which is a hunting system, it's a hunting trap, that's what it eats. It eats the essence of angel. It's like a plant almost on the earth, the host body system, that it consumes what comes into it. And you have to have a spiritual regeneration or you're eternally destroyed. Absolutely mind-boggling. So anyway, so coming up, there's the center head symbol. That's been there for years with that little lattice on it. I did that maybe 6 years ago. And a passion flower grew from there all the way over to here, and it made an infinity symbol with opposing passion flowers, like the same exact passion flower in opposite positions on an infinity symbol, to show us that from the right hand, the one that runs the whole system, it's eternal life, it's infinity, it's worlds without end, it never ends. I want to document, there's the piece of lattice he had me put up there. That was a miracle. The door hinge up there, that's a miracle. This piece is a miracle. That plant is an absolute miracle. The difference between this plant that's blooming purple and the one that I'll call the local one that's got the 3 leaves is pink. This is a pink flower with the local one. The one that's a royal purple, the transplant, kind of like us, is royal purple. And it just happens to be in the center section where that would be the cross of Christ in between the 3 crosses. That being the first cross, middle cross, second thief over there. Sorry about that, guys. I'm super tired. Anyway, but you understand, 3 crosses would be represented by the 3 het symbols. And 3 hets means Christ is salvation. Jesus is salvation. And I want to document this tree that's in the corner. It's covering up the other het symbol. This would be the one, like if you're looking at the 3 crosses, like imagine the house is the 3 crosses, these 3 het symbols. One in the middle and one at the end. This would be the one at the right hand. So you have the center, you have one over there that if you're looking at it, that would be the one to the left hand, that would be the one to the right hand. This tree right here is an Arizona ash, and they're typically, here in Texas, they destroy plumbing, they choke out other plants, they are just really a nuisance tree. I find it fascinating that I'm cutting down an ash tree that's the thing covering up the right-hand position right here. An ash tree is gonna get cut down so you can see that head. Okay, so there it is. Ash tree's out. You got your 3 head symbols. One right there, one in the middle, and then one on the other end, just like the 3 crosses at Calvary. 3 head symbols is Jesus' salvation in Gematria. Unbelievable. You have hundreds of passion flowers, which represent Christ, that naturally grew on this bush. The very bizarre thing is this whole thing makes an eye. We had our little, I don't know if it was a drone or how we saw it. I think we had a drone that went above this and looked down, makes like a perfect eye with the fountain coming out of it. And that fountain that'll be turned on shortly is in the dead center of the head symbol. This has been here for years. This is another bizarre thing he told me to do years ago, and now I understand it. I understand all of it. See the 3 head symbols? Fountain of life in the middle. There it represents Christ in the middle. Head symbol. There's one over on the right. It's like Jesmus and Desmus. One on the other side, like the 2 thieves on the cross. Christ in the middle. Het is Jesus' salvation. He's the fountain of life. This whole thing makes an eye. It's full of passion flowers. And there's another passion flower that's been introduced. And it's going over the wedding arch. It's growing right over that wedding arch, right to that trellis that's the tree of life. And it all was orchestrated by the Lord. It's not something I decided to do. He orchestrated every bit of this. That is insane. I committed to it on video before I did it. Even the geodes that he told me to get, the hollow rocks that represent the system as well. By the way, Peter means to bend, and a hollow rock, kephas, little rock. To bend and hollow rock. So I want to do a quick documentation so people understand the mindset when the Lord told me to hang this new piece of trellis that's got the tree of life on it 3 times. The one that goes in the center position on the house where there's 3 different head symbols. The one in the center position, the Lord miraculously given me a piece of trellis that has the 3 trees on it, like the tree of life, 1, 2, 3 times on that same trellis. And I was trying to figure out how to hang it. And so I came over here and I started looking at stuff like for hangers and how I could do it. And as I was here, I'm looking like, okay, well, I have carabiners. I have a lot of this kind of stuff in my toolboxes at home, but I didn't have anything that I thought would actually work. So I thought, you know what, I'll go to Home Depot and I'll come up with the right thing. So I came over here and let me show you what I chose. I looked over here and I went, here we go. This will do it. This is what I need. Something like that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, that little U-shaped thing, turn it upside down, and I'm just going to put it on the upside down part of the board like that. And then I have a little loop underneath the beam coming out in the dead center of the roof. So all I have to do is screw that just right up to the beam and I have a perfect little loop. And then I can take one of these and clip it onto the, the new piece of trellis with the 3 trees on it. I can take this and clip it on and then hang it from that. That would work really well. That was my idea. So I thought that would work the best. So anyway, so after grabbing these, and I grabbed these, that's when I heard right here, and I'm right here, grabbing this product right here to finish the job. That's it. That's what I needed to hang the trellis with the trees on. And while I'm standing right here grabbing this, I hear in my spirit, why don't you grab a door hinge grab some door hinges. And I'm sitting here going like, what? What do you mean grab some door hinges? I don't get it. I mean, I'm gonna screw this thing just right up into the bottom of the beam, just like that, and it's gonna be a perfect little thing just to clip one of those on and hang it. But no, I heard, why don't you grab a door hinge? So I was like, okay. So I don't want to be argumentative, so I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'll just go grab a door hinge. I walk over one aisle, I think one aisle, yeah. Over here we go. And this is where the door hinges are. So here's all the different door hinges right there. So I came over here and I'm looking at those and I'm going, how is that? Like, why would I need those to hang the trellis? It just doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and do it. So I go ahead and I grab those and I'm thinking, that's not gonna make any sense. Using a door hinge to hang something from the middle beam coming out of the roof, you know, in the very top of the pitch of the roof, right in the apex. And I'm thinking, this is kind of weird. So I had this in my hand and I bought a set of door hinges. Okay, this was a few days ago. I'm documenting coming back here to show y'all what the mindset was so you can understand how crazy what happened was. So I get the door hinge and I get that other piece of hardware and I took it home. And when I took it home and it was time to install said piece of trellis with the 3 trees of life on it, I was in my house going, Lord, look, I'm not opposed, to using those, except it's weird and it seems kind of weird to use that is the hardware when I could use it, where I could use, the little loop thing. It's so much easier. And then I said to the Lord, Lord, I don't ever want to be disobedient because I never want to miss one of your miracles. So I know that if I'm obedient, and I said, so I don't understand. You don't want me to use the little U-shaped bracket. You want me to use the door hinges? And I heard in my spirit, yeah, that would be the thing to use. And I am the door. And I started laughing. I kind of giggled and I'm like, okay, I get it. I am the door, right? So I'm like, okay, I get it. I am the door. But having door hinges on a beam that's coming out of the house on both sides of the beam is just weird. And I'm like, I'm a carpenter. I'm just like, that's kind of weird. And I see the spiritual aspect of it. And I'm like, okay, but so then I say out to the Lord, I'm standing in the kitchen just talking out loud. I said, but you know what? That seems kind of weird. It's like, it's just, I don't want to be the weird kid on the block like I'm not already. And I'm like, so I'd rather just use the little U-shaped thing if that's okay, but I don't want to offend you. And I don't want to do something that I was told to use a door hinge. And I get it that, yeah, you are the door, I get it. I'm like, but, it just seems a little strange. And I heard the Lord say, well, if you want to use the U hinge, go ahead. And I'm like, so it doesn't bother you? I mean, no, if that's what you want to use. And I'm like, okay, I just don't want to be disobedient or be rude or anything. So I walk outside. Corey's got the ladder out there for me, and I'm going to go up the ladder and put that thing in, the little U with the 2 holes, just 2 screws up into it. I have these like 2.5-inch, 3-inch screws, long ones. So I'm going to blast those 2 screws in and then just throw a carabiner on it and hang it. Super easy peasy. I get up to the top of the ladder and I've got my drill pistol with me and the screws. And I'm going to find the spot in the center of the beam where I'm just going to put those 2 screws. And when I put my finger up there, my finger just about goes through the wood because it's all caulked. The whole thing is caulked. Like, no. So it was all caulking in between the 2, like 2x10s or 2x12s, whatever they are, coming out the top of the roof. In between the 2 boards where they're sandwiched together in the dead center, it is caulked with like this much caulking and it's covered with paint. But the Lord knew it. Why do you think he told me to get 2 door hinges? They screw into the side and it's right above the head symbol, which would be the position of that you know, where he is. So insane, dude. I was like, what? Yes. So anyway, so when I got up there to put my little U in, it didn't work because there was literally no wood under the paint. It was just caulk and it was all rotting out and ready to fall out. But the hinges, you could screw them straight on the side, run a little wire through it, and shazam. So anyway, why don't you go ahead and get the door hinges? What? That's so weird. No, there's not going to be any wood between the beams. So after I climb up the ladder, I realized my cool way of doing it didn't work at all because there underneath the paint, it was all rotted out and it had caulking in it. And the painter, whoever painted it, Arnulfo, when Arnulfo painted it, he caulked it, but you couldn't tell that it wasn't wood. So that little U-shaped thing would not work in there. So that was pretty hysterical that I had a backup set of door hinges to install it, which is what he told me to use when I was at Home Depot. You might want to get the door hinges. Okay, you want to hear even crazier? Okay, here's even crazier. So the next day, I'm driving out to meet Dave the Wave with Corey and Zach. We're going to meet Dave to see the Avengers movie on Friday. Friday is Dave's day out. And so we told him we'd go meet him, and we went and met Dave. And on the way to meet Dave, I got a text from a friend of mine, Fallon, who has been just a gem sending me scriptures that are confirming scriptures. She sent me a couple just haymakers for the enemy, confirming, you know, the upside down reality of everything. So anyway, Ecclesiastes 7, that was her that sent that to me. Anyway, so I get a text from Fallon. I haven't really heard from her very much in while we don't check in a whole lot, but it was the time. I got a text from her at 12:21 saying, hey, basically I was looking at John, the Gospel of John, and I was particularly drawn to, I am the door. Well, I was like, what? And when I grabbed the phone that was on the dash while I was driving to pick it up to see, by the time I picked it up and turned it, my hand took a screenshot of the screen and the text and the time it was coming in, which is very strange. I mean, to pick up your phone and it goes and it does a screenshot. I was like, well, that was weird. And then looked it up, and it's like at any time, at any moment, like the door can open. Be ready. So I'm back at Home Depot a couple of days later than when that event happened, just showing you this is what was going on. This was the back and forth between he and I in order to buy door hinges to hang the Tree of Life trellis that's hanging on the house. Anyway, I think I messed up on one of these. The recorder button wasn't going. But anyway, so I'm just back at Home Depot recording what's going on because I want to document what happened the other day so y'all have like a mental picture of what was going on when it was happening. I'm over here buying this little piece of hardware to hang the Tree of Life, and he's telling me, no, get a set of hinges instead. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I know you're the door, but that seems kind of weird, right? Well, okay, I get home and we go back and forth. And I hear the Lord say, well, you can go ahead and use yours if you want. And I get up there and I try and use it, and it won't work because it's all rotted out under the beam. So my way wouldn't work, but the door hinges worked perfectly because they screwed into the side of the beam, and it left a little hole where I could loop a piece of wire and hang the whole thing. Yeah. And then Fallon texts and says, hey, I was drawn to this scripture, I am the door.